All right, get ready, because today we're diving into something truly captivating. The Holy Fire Ceremony in Jerusalem. It's an event just shrouded in mystery and steeped in centuries of tradition.
Yeah, what I find so fascinating about this ceremony is that for Orthodox Christians, it's not just a ritual.
Right.
It's considered the greatest annual miracle, you know, happening every year in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre on Holy Saturday, the day before Orthodox Easter.
The location itself is incredibly significant.
Right.
The Church of the Holy Sepulchre is believed to be the very site of Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection.
Yeah.
That must add a whole other level of intensity for the pilgrims who gather there.
Absolutely. Imagine this. It's noon on Holy Saturday. The church is packed with thousands of pilgrims, anticipation just hanging thick in the air.
Wow.
This is the culmination of their journey,
Right.
a moment they've been waiting for all year.
Okay, so walk me through what actually happens during the ceremony. What would I see if I were standing in that crowd?
Well, first you'd witness a grand procession. The Greek patriarch, along with his clergy, circles the structure that enshrines the tomb 3 times, chanting hymns.
Okay.
Then the Armenian patriarch and his clergy follow suit.
Wow.
And finally, the Coptic bishop joins the procession. It's a visual representation of the diversity within the Orthodox world, all united in this shared anticipation.
Wow. That's quite a spectacle. I'm picturing the sights, the sounds, the energy. Then what happens?
Well, the tension builds as the Patriarch of Jerusalem enters the edicule, the small chapel that encloses the tomb, alone. He enters with unlit candles, and everyone waits, holding their breath, for what feels like an eternity.
I bet you could hear a pin drop in that moment.
Eh.
So what happens next? How does the holy fire appear?
This is where the mystery deepens. After a period of prayer in the darkness, the Patriarch emerges with 33 candles miraculously lit, the holy fire.
33 candles, each one representing a year of Jesus' life. I read that there's a belief that the holy fire doesn't burn in those first few moments. Is there any historical basis for that claim?
There are numerous accounts, some dating back centuries. For instance, Eusebius of Caesarea, a historian from the 4th century, described lamps in the church miraculously lighting up even though they were out of oil. While not directly about the holy fire, it shows a long-standing association of the site with miraculous light.
That's incredible. It's like a story straight out of a history book.
And it's not just Eusebius. Around the same time, a Spanish noblewoman named Egeria documented her pilgrimage to Jerusalem. She describes a ceremony where a brilliant light emanated from the chapel enclosing Jesus' tomb.
Wow.
These accounts suggest that the connection between the Holy Sepulchre and divine light has deep roots.
So we've got these accounts of miracles, but I imagine not everyone throughout history has accepted them at face value.
Right.
Has there been skepticism surrounding the holy fire?
Oh, absolutely. The holy fire has been a subject of debate and scrutiny for centuries. In fact, in the 11th century, the Caliph al-Hakim by Amrullah, who believed the holy fire was a fraud, went to the extreme of ordering the destruction of the entire Holy Sepulchre. It was later rebuilt, of course, but it illustrates just how intense the debate has been.
Wow, that's quite a reaction. So the skepticism dates back pretty far. Were there other notable figures who doubted the authenticity of the holy fire?
Yes, even within the Christian world, there were skeptics. Pope Gregory the X, back in the 13th century, denounced the holy fire as a fraud, causing quite a stir at the time.
Talk about a controversial statement. That must have shaken things up a bit.
It certainly did, but the controversy didn't end there. That same century, there's a fascinating account of Turan Shah, a ruler who reportedly exposed the trickery behind the holy fire, but chose to allow the practice to continue because of its financial benefits.
Really?
It seems the intersection of faith and economics has a long history.
That's a really interesting point. So we have these ancient accounts, skepticism woven throughout history. But what about modern times? Are there still people who question the legitimacy of the holy fire?
Absolutely. There are Orthodox Christians, even today, who consider the ceremony to be a symbolic ritual, not a literal miracle. For example, Adamantios Koreas from Greece and Igor Dobrobertov from Russia had both publicly criticized the holy fire as a hoax.
It's amazing how this debate has continued for centuries. And there was that recent controversy with Armenian Bishop Samuel Agoyan, right?
Yes, Bishop Agoyan, who actually participated in the ceremony, claimed to have seen the Greek patriarch using a lamp to light the fire.
It's like something straight out of a mystery novel. With all this debate and skepticism, how should we as listeners approach this topic?
That's a great question. I think the key is to approach the holy fire with an open mind, recognizing that its significance goes far beyond the question of its literal authenticity.
Okay.
Whether one sees it as a divine miracle or a symbolic ritual, it's undeniable that this ceremony holds immense power and meaning for those who believe.
Okay, I think that's a great point to pause on. We've covered a lot of ground from the origins and details of the ceremony to the historical accounts and the persistent skepticism surrounding it.
And this is just the tip of the iceberg. We've only scratched the surface of this fascinating topic.
Right. So we'll be back after a quick break to delve deeper into the symbolism, the beliefs, and the profound impact this ceremony has on those who experience it. It's fascinating to think about the power of belief and what draws people to this ceremony year after year.
Yeah, what's truly compelling is that for those who believe, the holy fire isn't just about flames, it's about the tangible manifestation of their faith. It's about divine light entering the world, dispelling darkness both literally and metaphorically.
So it's not just a visual spectacle, but a profoundly spiritual experience.
Exactly. Imagine being in that crowd, witnessing the darkness of the tomb give way to the sudden brilliance of the holy fire. It's seen as a symbol of resurrection, of renewal, of the triumph of light over darkness.
And I've read that the 33 candles aren't just symbolic of the years of Jesus' life, but also hold deeper meaning in early Christian numerology. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Sure. In early Christianity, the number 33 held significant mystical and spiritual meaning. Some believe it represents the age of Jesus at his crucifixion,
Okay.
while others connect it to the 33 vertebrae in the human spine, symbolizing the pathway for divine energy to flow through the body.
Wow, I never knew that. That adds a whole other layer of meaning to the coming three candles.
It's these layers of symbolism and meaning that make the ceremony so rich and multifaceted.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it, what it must feel like to be in that moment, to witness this event that people believe is a direct connection to the divine.
Think about the pilgrims who travel from all over the world to be there. For many, this journey is a culmination of a lifetime of faith, a chance to connect with their spiritual heritage and experience something they believe is truly miraculous.
I've seen footage of the ceremony, and it's incredibly moving to see how people react when the holy fire emerges. There's this surge of emotion, tears, joy, a sense of awe that's almost palpable through the screen.
It's a powerful reminder of the human need for connection, both to something greater than ourselves and to each other. In that moment, thousands of people are united in a shared experience of faith and wonder.
It's like a collective gasp, a shared moment of transcendence.
Exactly. And that sense of shared experience, of collective effervescence, as sociologists call it, is something that has been a part of human ritual and ceremony for centuries.
That makes me think about the historical accounts we discussed earlier. I imagine that even for those who were skeptical, there must have been a sense of awe at the spectacle itself, at the sheer power of collective belief.
I think that's a really insightful point. Even if one doesn't subscribe to the belief that the holy fire is a literal miracle, it's hard to deny the impact it has on the people who witness it.
It speaks to something deeper within us, this need to believe in something beyond ourselves, to find meaning and hope in the world.
Absolutely. Whether you see it as a divine miracle, a symbolic ritual, or simply a fascinating cultural phenomenon, the holy fire offers a window into the complexities of faith, the power of belief, and the enduring human search for meaning and connection.
Listening to you talk about the emotional and spiritual impact of this ceremony, it makes me think about the role of rituals in our own lives, even outside of religion.
That's a great observation. Rituals, whether religious or secular, provide structure, meaning, and a sense of connection to something larger than ourselves. They can mark important transitions in our lives, offer comfort in times of uncertainty, and help us feel connected to our communities and our shared humanity.
Think about weddings, graduations, even birthdays. These are all rituals that, in a way, help us make sense of the world and our place in it.
Precisely. And like the Holy Fire ceremony, these rituals often involve symbolism, shared stories, and collective emotion, which can be incredibly powerful and transformative.
It seems like the human need for ritual and connection is universal, something that transcends cultures and belief systems.
I absolutely agree. And the Holy Fire ceremony, with its rich history, its layers of meaning, and its enduring power to inspire awe and wonder, offers a fascinating example of how rituals can shape our understanding of the world and our place in it.
Okay, before we move on, I have a burning question. You mentioned earlier that authorities inspect the patriarch before he enters the tomb. Can you tell us more about that? What's the purpose of that inspection?
Yes, that's a crucial part of the ceremony and adds to the intrigue. Historically, it was Turkish soldiers who conducted the search, and now it's Israeli police. The purpose is to ensure that the patriarch isn't carrying anything that could be used to start a fire.
So it's meant to dispel any suspicion of trickery, to add legitimacy to the claim of a miracle.
Exactly. The inspection, conducted in full view of the crowd, emphasizes the claim that the holy fire appears spontaneously, through divine intervention, and not through any human means.
It's like a modern-day version of a trial by fire, a test of faith played out on a grand stage. And even with these inspections, the skepticism persists, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Skeptics often point to this inspection as evidence that the ceremony is staged. They argue that despite the search, there are still ways to sneak in something to ignite the fire.
It seems like this debate will likely continue for centuries to come, doesn't it?
Most likely. And I think that's part of what makes the holy fire so fascinating. It's a phenomenon that invites us to question, to explore, to grapple with the intersection of faith, history, and human experience.
So where do we go from here? We've talked about the ceremony, the beliefs, the history, the skepticism. What are your final thoughts on the holy fire and its enduring legacy?
Well, I think the holy fire, regardless of one's personal beliefs, serves as a powerful reminder of the enduring human need for meaning, for connection, and for something that transcends the everyday. It's a phenomenon that sparks debate, inspires awe, and continues to fascinate us centuries after its first recorded appearance.
As we wrap up this exploration of the holy fire ceremony, I can't help but be struck by the sheer diversity of perspectives surrounding it. We have those who believe wholeheartedly in its miraculous nature, and those who see it as an elaborate hoax, and then those who fall somewhere in between.
Yeah, it's a testament to the complexity of human belief and the ways in which we interpret and make meaning of the world around us. The holy fire acts as a sort of Rorschach test, revealing our own biases and preconceptions about faith and spirituality.
It's fascinating how something that appears so straightforward, a flame appearing in a tomb, can evoke such a wide range of reactions and interpretations. What do you think accounts for this enduring fascination with the holy fire, even among those who may not be religious?
I think it taps into a universal human desire for mystery and wonder. We're drawn to stories of the unexplained, the seemingly impossible. The holy fire, with its centuries-old tradition and its association with the life and death of Jesus Christ, holds a powerful allure that transcends cultural and religious boundaries.
It's like a real-life mystery novel unfolding right before our eyes.
Yeah.
And even if we strip away the religious aspect, there's still something incredibly captivating about the ceremony itself. The atmosphere, the anticipation, the collective energy of the crowd.
Absolutely. The holy fire ceremony is a sensory experience unlike any other. The chanting, the flickering candlelight, the palpable emotion in the air, all contribute to a sense of awe and wonder that can be both deeply moving and intellectually stimulating.
It makes me think about how we as humans often seek out experiences that challenge our understanding of the world, that push us beyond the boundaries of the ordinary.
Right.
Whether through art, music, travel, or even scientific discovery, we crave those moments that spark our curiosity and ignite our imagination.
And the holy fire, with its enduring mystery and its power to evoke such strong emotions, certainly fits the bill.
Okay, so before we conclude this deep dive, I have one final question for you.
Yeah.
If we step back from the debate about its authenticity,
Yeah.
what do you think the holy fire ultimately represents to those who believe in its miraculous nature?
I think at its core, the holy fire represents hope. It's a tangible manifestation of their faith, a symbol of the triumph of light over darkness, of good over evil. It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always the possibility of renewal, of rebirth, of divine intervention.
It's like a beacon of light in a world that can often feel chaotic and uncertain.
Exactly. And for those who make the pilgrimage to Jerusalem to witness this event firsthand, it's a deeply personal and transformative experience. They return home carrying that light with them, both literally and figuratively.
It's a powerful reminder of the enduring human need for faith, hope, and connection to something greater than ourselves.
And perhaps that's the greatest takeaway from this deep dive into the Holy Fire ceremony. Whether one views it as a miracle, a symbol, or simply a fascinating cultural phenomenon, it offers a window into the richness and complexity of human belief and the ways in which we seek to make sense of the world around us.
Well said. And to our listeners, we hope you've enjoyed this journey into the heart of the Holy Fire ceremony. We encourage you to continue exploring, to delve deeper into the history, the beliefs, and the ongoing debate surrounding this fascinating event.
Remember, the quest for knowledge is a journey without end. So keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep the flame of curiosity burning bright.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on our next deep dive.